Hey everyone, and welcome back to Book Dive. You ready for another deep dive with us?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Perfect. And hey, while you're settling in for this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know what you think in the comments. We always love hearing from you. Absolutely. So today we are diving into a classic, and I'm excited about this one.
Me too. It's an important one.
You Can Heal Your Life
Yeah.
by Louise Hay. Now, this book, it's been around for a while, and for good reason. It really delves into the power of our thoughts.
And how those thoughts shape our reality. And that includes everything from our well-being to our relationships to our success.
It's wild how much our thoughts can impact our lives, right?
It really is. And Hay really drives that point home in such a clear and compelling way.
So let's jump right in. One of the core ideas in You Can Heal Your Life is this belief of, I'm not good enough.
hmm
Have you ever felt that way?
Oh, absolutely. I think most of us have struggled with that feeling at some point in our lives. It's almost like a universal experience.
It's so insidious, isn't it? It can creep into so many areas of our lives.
It really can. Hay talks about how this belief can hold us back in our relationships, our careers, our health, even our finances. It can really permeate every aspect of our being.
And it's often so deeply ingrained that we don't even realize it's there. We just kind of accept it as truth.
Exactly. And that's one of the things I find so powerful about Hay's work. She helps us uncover these hidden beliefs and brings them to the surface so we can start to examine them and challenge them.
So where does this belief of I'm not good enough come from?
Well, Hay points to our early childhood experiences, those messages we receive from parents, teachers, even society as a whole.
Like what kind of messages?
Things like you're too sensitive or you'll never amount to anything or why can't you be more like your brother? Those kinds of messages, they can really stick with us.
It's like we're little sponges soaking up all this information and forming our beliefs about ourselves based on what we hear.
Precisely. And those early messages, they become part of our internal programming, our subconscious beliefs that shape how we see ourselves in the world around us.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Hay actually connects these negative thought patterns to physical and emotional problems.
She does. And she provides some pretty compelling examples in the book.
Like what kind of examples?
Well, she talks about how resentment, for example, can manifest as arthritis in the body.
Really? So holding on to anger and bitterness can actually lead to physical pain.
According to Hay, yes, she also links guilt to feelings of stiffness and inflexibility and fear to stomach problems and ulcers.
Wow, so our unexpressed emotions can literally get stuck in our bodies.
That's the idea. Hay believes that our bodies are constantly trying to communicate with us through these symptoms, and it's up to us to listen and figure out what they're trying to tell us.
So it's like our bodies are giving us clues about what needs to be healed on an emotional level.
Exactly, and that's where the real healing begins.
But it can feel overwhelming, right? Like,
Yeah.
where do we even begin to unravel all of this?
Well, the good news is that Hay doesn't just leave us hanging with all this negativity. She also gives us tools to change these patterns and create a more positive and fulfilling reality.
And that's what makes this book so empowering, right? It's not just about identifying the problem, it's about finding solutions.
Exactly. So are you ready to explore some of those solutions?
Absolutely, let's dive in.
One of the key concepts that Hay introduces is this idea of the point of power. It's all about recognizing that we have the power to choose our thoughts and beliefs right here, right now.
So we're not just victims of our past experiences, we actually have the ability to create a new reality for ourselves.
Precisely, we're not stuck with those old tapes playing on repeat in our heads. We can choose to hit the record button and create a new soundtrack.
I love that analogy. But that being said, changing deeply ingrained thought patterns, it's not always easy, right?
It's definitely not a quick fix. It takes effort and a willingness to look within and challenge those old beliefs that no longer serve us.
So how do we actually do that? How do we start to shift those negative thought patterns?
Well, Hay offers a variety of techniques in the book. One of the most well-known is affirmations.
Ah, yes, affirmations, those positive statements we repeat to ourselves to reprogram our subconscious minds.
Exactly. It might sound simple, but there's real power in repetition. Think about how we learn language or develop habits. It's all about repeated exposure, and affirmations work in a similar way.
So it's like we're planting seeds of positive beliefs in our minds, and with enough repetition, those seeds begin to sprout and grow.
Precisely. And the more we focus on those positive affirmations, the more we weaken the hold of those old negative beliefs.
But what about those times when we resist change? Those
Yeah.
moments when we come up with all sorts of reasons why something won't work or why we're not good enough.
Resistance is a natural part of the process, actually. Hay encourages us to observe that resistance without judgment. It's like that old saying, what we resist persists. So by noticing our resistance, we can start to understand the underlying fears or beliefs that are holding us back.
It's like resistance is a clue, a little red flag saying, hey, there's something here that needs to be looked at.
Exactly. And by exploring that resistance with curiosity and compassion, we can often uncover those limiting beliefs that might be lurking beneath the surface.
This is all so fascinating. I'm really starting to see how our thoughts can create our reality and how we have the power to change that reality by changing our thoughts.
That's the essence of Hay's message. And it's a message that has resonated with millions of people around the world.
Now, there's another concept that Hay talks about that I'd love to explore further, and that's the idea of releasing the need. Can you explain what that means?
Sure, it's about recognizing that sometimes we cling to negative patterns because they serve a purpose, even if it's a subconscious one.
So it's like we're getting comfortable with our discomfort.
In a way, yes. And releasing the need involves digging deep and questioning why we might be clinging to these patterns, even when they're causing us pain.
So give us an example.
Imagine you constantly worry about money, even though you have enough to meet your needs. Releasing the need would involve exploring why you cling to this worry. Perhaps it stems from a childhood experience of scarcity, or maybe it makes you feel more responsible or in control by understanding this root. You can start to let go of the worry and embrace a more abundant mindset.
So it's about getting to the root of the issue, not just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Exactly. It's about addressing the underlying cause, not just the symptom, and that's where real transformation happens. It's powerful stuff, isn't it?
It really is, and it makes you realize how much control we actually have over our lives.
Exactly. We're not just at the mercy of our circumstances or our past. We have the power to choose our thoughts and therefore shape our reality.
Now, one thing I really appreciate about Hay's approach is that it's not just about changing our thoughts. It's about nurturing the whole self, body, mind, and spirit.
Absolutely. It's a holistic approach to well-being. Hey, recognize that we're not just minds walking around. We're complex beings with physical, emotional, and spiritual needs.
So it's not enough to just focus on positive thinking. We also need to take care of our physical bodies.
Exactly. Hay was a big advocate for healthy eating and exercise. She believed that what we put into our bodies and how we move our bodies has a direct impact on our mental and emotional state.
So what kind of diet did she recommend?
She kept it pretty simple, actually. She encouraged people to eat whole foods, things that grow naturally from the earth, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, that sort of thing.
So basically, a diet that's close to nature.
Exactly. And she also emphasized the importance of listening to our bodies and eating what feels good for us.
It's about tuning in to our own individual needs.
Right, because what works for one person might not work for another. We all have unique bodies, and we need to honor that.
And what about exercise? What were Hay's views on that?
She believed that movement is essential for well-being, but she also stressed the importance of finding activities that we enjoy. It shouldn't feel like a chore.
So it's not about forcing ourselves to go to the gym if we hate it.
Exactly. It could be dancing, swimming, hiking, gardening, even just taking a brisk walk in nature. The key is to move our bodies in a way that feels good and brings us joy.
That makes so much sense because when we enjoy something, we're more likely to stick with it.
Exactly, and that's how we create sustainable habits.
So we've talked about the importance of nourishing our bodies with healthy food and joyful movement. But what about the spiritual side of things?
Hay believed that spirituality is an integral part of well-being. She encouraged practices like meditation, prayer, and connecting with nature, anything that helps us to quiet the mind and connect with a sense of inner peace.
So it's about finding that sense of stillness amidst the chaos of daily life.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be anything complicated or formal. Even just taking a few moments each day to breathe deeply and focus on the present moment can make a world of difference.
Yeah, and she practiced what she preached too, right?
Yeah.
I remember reading about her daily routine, which included meditation, affirmations, and even singing her affirmations in the mirror.
Yes, she really embodied the principles she taught, and her own life was a testament to the transformative power of her work.
Now, all this talk about self-care reminds me of another important aspect of Hay's work, forgiveness. She really emphasized the power of forgiveness, both of ourselves and others.
Absolutely. Forgiveness is a cornerstone of Hay's philosophy. She believed that holding on to resentment and anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Wow, that's a powerful image. So how do we actually practice forgiveness,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to those who have really hurt us?
It's not easy, that's for sure. But Hay offers a variety of techniques in the book. One powerful exercise is to visualize the person you need to forgive and imagine having a conversation with them in your mind.
So it's like a mental rehearsal for a real-life conversation.
In a way, yes, but it's also about creating a space where you can safely express your hurt and anger without actually confronting the person.
And then what?
Once you've expressed your feelings, you can choose to let them go. You can imagine yourself releasing those negative emotions and replacing them with forgiveness and compassion.
It sounds like it takes a lot of courage and compassion to truly forgive.
It does, but it's also incredibly liberating when we forgive. We free ourselves from the burden of carrying around all that anger and resentment.
And Hay also emphasizes the importance of forgiving ourselves.
Right. Absolutely, we all make mistakes, and beating ourselves up about the past doesn't serve anyone.
It's like we're carrying around all that guilt and shame for no reason.
Exactly. Self-forgiveness is about recognizing that we did the best we could with the awareness we had at the time, and it's about extending the same compassion and understanding to ourselves that we would offer to a loved one.
So we've talked about the importance of nurturing our bodies, minds, and spirits, and the transformative power of forgiveness. What else does Hay offer in terms of practical tools for creating positive change?
Well, one of the things I appreciate about Hayes' work is that she doesn't just talk about these concepts in a theoretical way. She shares captivating real-life examples and anecdotes that bring these ideas to life.
Yes, I love those stories. They make everything so much more relatable and inspiring.
Right, like that story about the woman who was terrified of public speaking. Hay suggested that she bless the audience with love, and guess what? Her fear dissolved, and she delivered a powerful presentation.
It's like she shifted her energy from fear to love,
Hmm.
and that completely changed the experience.
Mhm.
I'm also thinking of the story about the woman who couldn't stand her own breath. Hay helped her see how her unexpressed anger and jealousy were literally manifesting as bad breath.
It's amazing how those seemingly small details can be clues to what's going on beneath the surface. Hayes' stories remind us that we can find healing and transformation in the most unexpected places.
Now, I know Hay is famous for her work with affirmations, but she also talks about the importance of visualization, right?
Absolutely. Visualizations are a powerful tool for creating the reality we desire. It's about using the power of our imagination to create a mental picture of what we want to experience.
Can you give us an example of how that works?
One of my favorite visualizations from the book involves picturing yourself as a child full of joy and potential. You see this child looking up at you with trust and admiration. You reach out and embrace this child, offering unconditional love and reassurance.
It's like we're reparenting ourselves, offering the love and acceptance we might not have received as children.
Exactly. It's a powerful way to heal old wounds and cultivate a deeper sense of self-love. Now, I'm curious, what are some of the stories or techniques that have resonated with you the most?
There are so many, it's hard to choose
I
just one.
know, right? Hayes' work is so rich and insightful.
But if I had to pick one, I think it would be the story about the man who started doing prosperity affirmations.
Oh, yes, the one who won $500 only to break his leg the next day and end up with $500 in medical bills.
Exactly. Such a funny story. But it also makes a really important point about the power of our beliefs.
Absolutely. It shows how our subconscious beliefs can sometimes sabotage our efforts, even when we're trying to create positive change.
It's like his deep-seated belief that he didn't deserve abundance literally manifested as a broken leg.
It's a powerful reminder that we need to align our conscious and subconscious beliefs if we want to see real and lasting results in our lives.
So it's not enough to just think positive thoughts. We also need to address those underlying beliefs that might be holding us back.
Precisely, it's about doing the inner work to clear out those limiting beliefs and create a fertile ground for our affirmations and visualizations to take root.
It's like we're creating a new foundation for our lives. A foundation built on self-love, worthiness, and abundance.
Exactly, and from that foundation, we can create anything we desire.
Now, beyond those individual stories, I'm also struck by Hayes' emphasis on how our thoughts and beliefs impact our relationships. It's like she's saying that our relationships are a mirror reflecting back to us our own inner world.
Yes, Hay often talks about how we attract people into our lives who either embody qualities we admire or demonstrate traits that we dislike in ourselves.
So if I'm constantly complaining about how my partner is always late, maybe it's time to look at my own patterns around time management.
Exactly. It's not about blaming ourselves or others, but rather understanding how our beliefs and behaviors create the dynamics in our relationships. Hay even suggests a simple but powerful exercise where we identify 3 things we dislike about someone in our life, then reflect on where we might exhibit similar behaviors or hold beliefs that attract those traits.
That's a humbling exercise for sure, but I could see how it could be incredibly insightful. And speaking of relationships, Hay also have a lot to say about attracting love. It's not about desperately searching, right?
Right. Hay believes that when we focus on cultivating self-love and worthiness, the right relationship will naturally come into our lives.
It's like that saying, what you seek is seeking you.
Exactly. When we radiate self-love and acceptance, we become a magnet for healthy, fulfilling relationships. And this concept of self-worth also applies to our work lives, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hay is a big believer in finding fulfilling work and creating abundance. But what if you're stuck in a job you hate?
Hay encourages us to bless our current situation with love, recognizing that even a less than ideal job can teach us valuable lessons. She also reminds us that we have the power to change our circumstances.
So it's not about settling or resigning ourselves to a life of misery.
Not at all. Hay is all about empowering us to create the lives we desire when it comes to work. She encourages us to release the fixed income mentality and to see abundance flowing to us from multiple channels, not just from our job.
I love that idea. It's about opening ourselves up to possibilities and trusting that the universe will provide. And she even suggests blessing our current salary with love as a way to attract more abundance.
Yes, gratitude is key.
Hmm.
It's about shifting our mindset from scarcity to abundance, believing that we are worthy of receiving all the good that life has to offer.
This has been such an incredible deep dive into You Can Heal Your Life. We've covered so much ground, from understanding the power of our thoughts to practical techniques for creating positive change in all areas of our lives.
It's been a joy exploring these empowering concepts with you. I'm always amazed at how Hay's message continues to resonate with people from all walks of life.
And for those of you who are ready to dive even deeper into Hay's work, don't forget to check out the affiliate link in the description, where you can grab a copy of the Affirmations. You can heal your lives and support the show.
As we wrap up, I want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes from Louise Hay. What if you started each day by saying, "I love myself, therefore"? How do you think that might change your day, your week, your life?
That's a powerful question to ponder. Thanks for joining us on this journey of self-discovery. And remember, you have the power to heal your life and create a reality that aligns with your deepest desires. See you next time on Book Dive.